Welcome to Sadaaqa, a show that celebrates friendship, dialogue, and the enduring human connections between India and Kuwait. And we are stepping into our first episode of 2026. And it's a new year of conversations and a new year of reflections on memories, ideas, and the many ways in which people and institutions can contribute and add to relations between two nations. Now, we are airing this episode in February. It's a very important month for Kuwait. We celebrate the National Day and the Liberation Day, and therefore, it's an occasion that honors sovereignty, resilience, and the collective spirit of a nation. Before we go further into the program, we have to thank our sponsors, Al Mulla Exchange and Mughal Mahal, who have been with us from the very beginning of this show, and for supporting Sadaaqa and for their commitment to strengthening people-to-people ties between communities in Kuwait. Now, our guest today is someone very interesting. I've been pursuing him for a long time, and he's been very elusive. He is Abdulaziz Al-Anjari, the founder and CEO of Reconnaissance Research, the first non-governmental think tank in the region. He's a researcher, a media contributor who's been at the forefront of promoting democratic values, freedom of communication, and the right, which is very important, to verified information, not only in Kuwait but across the region. Now, through his work, he has tried to empower individuals and institutions to shape policy conversations and has contributed meaningfully to discourse on governance, expression, and accountability. He has a very interesting journey. We are not going to talk so much about his journey, but we'll talk about the work that his think tank is doing on India-Kuwait relationship. And in this episode, we are going to therefore focus on India-Kuwait relationship, and we will see how we can add to this connection not only by diplomacy but through research, policy, human connections, and other kinds of, and the role that this institution has played in fostering dialogue, understanding, and engagement between the two countries. So welcome to Sadaaqa, Mr. Al-Anjari. It's been such a pleasure to have you on the show with us, and in such a special month. Feb is a special month for Kuwaitis and to expats, because for us, Kuwait is our adopted home. So I'd like to start with my first question. Why was it so difficult to get in touch with you? But it's good. The end is always, the end result is always good. Reconnaissance Research has emerged as a respected voice in policy analysis and strategic research in the region. What was the original vision when you started off?
Well, first of all, I'm not elusive, because the first gate to your heart is the door that you open. And once you meet a person, you find it a little bit sometimes difficult to untangle. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know who you are. I had my time to research.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand it.
And you were wonderful, and everything was said about you was amazing.
Thank you.
And that's why I reapproached you again and said we would like to meet with you. And it was a splendid meeting.
It did go very well.
And the reel that we had what, 800,000 views?
I don't know. I mean, I have to tell you this, and it's not in the, I was not planning to say this on record, but I had a friend, a Kuwaiti friend, who I became friends with in 2002. And then we worked in the radio together, and we lost touch for like 20 years. And after watching Abdulaziz's reel, she gets in touch with me on Instagram. And this is a really dear, beloved person who I really wanted to reestablish contact with. I have to thank you.
I have to thank
Abdulaziz for that. The fact that, again, we are talking about people-to-people connection.
Yeah.
I mean, how it happened through that reel of yours, And
I believe in positive energy. I believe in people with passion would find others with passion and click. And this is something that made me happy to be part of this interview. I'm also happy that you said we can have coffee during the chat, because this is for me something very important.
Yes, absolutely. I can't do without my cup of coffee. So going back to my first question, what is it that...
so I couldn't avoid it.
Yes.
Well, I, in 2013, had the first tax office in Kuwait and Bahrain, because of the US policy called FATCA, Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. And that made me get closer to American friends. And there has been an assumption that Kuwait is the crown jewel of the US relations in the region. And we have been fed, maybe unintentionally, that false narrative since the liberation of Kuwait. But around 2013, 2014, when I started to be more interested in international affairs, the first doors I was interested to knock were the US Embassy and people from the United States in general. And I found that every other country in the region is trying so hard to increase its footprint in Washington, but it didn't seem Kuwait was caring so much to do that.
I see.
And what started as casual conversations manifested into a passion to explore more venues of collaboration with the US, current and former diplomats, academics. So I did the Correspondent magazine. It was a quarterly magazine. It was designed in Italy by a company called Brake and Partners to make sure it adheres to the international standards.
It was very professionally done, I must say that.
Yes, thank you. And we had editors, content editors, contributors that write exclusively for the magazine. We did not do syndication. So that if we don't continue, we don't feel that something was wrong with the quality of the magazine. And we did the first, second, third, fourth issue. They were all beautiful. The first cover was with the architect Jan Utzon. I flew a team to meet him, and he talked about his work in Kuwait in the 70s and 80s.
I wish you would restart that magazine again.
Hopefully. If we get some people are interested, why not? Anyways, so I closed the magazine in 2017. I was heartbroken for a couple of weeks. I felt the platform I wanted to connect Kuwaitis with non-Kuwaitis and the bridge I was hoping to build and grow didn't resonate with anybody in the Kuwaiti government. But because you are passion-driven,
I know,
you look at every problem as a temporary obstacle and you want to find ways to overcome them. And that's when I thought, okay, what could do what the magazine wanted and more, but doesn't fall into the problems that the magazine had, which is a fixed monthly expenditure regardless of the outcome. So that's when I thought about the idea of the
Reconnaissance,
the think tank. And I went in April, I think, planning it. And in July 2019, I went to Washington, D.C. to just meet a few former and middle-level State Department officials and former ambassadors to entertain the idea. Would it be something that they would find interesting? I didn't want to get any funding from them. I wanted content and contacts.
I see.
If we are talking about the problem between the US and China, for example, I would respect a Jordanian, an Egyptian, and a Kuwaiti expressing their opinions, but I would value more somebody from the US government to speak about it.
That's right.
It carries more weight.
Absolutely. So it started basically with promoting or exploring and documenting Kuwait-US relationship. And then you expanded. You expanded your vision.
I wanted to know my own benchmark on where does Kuwait-US relationships stand. As an interested Kuwaiti citizen.
That's right.
That's it.
So now I come to this. I wanted to know as founder and CEO of Reconnaissance Research, how do you balance intellectual independence with the practical realities of policy engagement and stakeholder expectations? How do you do that?
Well, to be honest, Reconnaissance is not a traditional think tank. I mean, we hope to be what think tanks are, but we are not yet there. A humble understanding of what you are and what you have achieved makes it easier for you to know where you should go and what you should strive for. We are inspired by the Kuwaiti Diwaniya model, where people with very different views can meet, speak openly, and challenge each other's assumption. We protect intellectual independence. For me, this is a must. And we bring critics as well as supporters of an idea. We are a neutral platform. We like to exchange ideas meaningfully with participants agreeing that there is no end result saying who's right and who's wrong. But it's a platform that allows for people to state their ideas, their convictions, whether they believe in them or not, whether it is state propaganda or not. That is not my job to rule out. And I think that level of engagement is important. And I know sometimes few, especially embassies, sometimes are not very happy
with the results
with what
the discussion.
For example, an embassy would say, why did you bring the Chinese ambassador?
Okay.
Another embassy would say, why didn't you take a stronger stand supporting Ukraine? Why did you allow the Russian ambassador to speak? I understand that. But I find it very ironic that it comes from democratic countries who promote democratic values and freedoms of expression, freedom of press. So it's kind of funny that they would like to narrow your views into a certain path. But I allow both views to be expressed in Reconnaissance. For those who are interested to learn, we treat everybody equally. If you are interested in a topic and we are providing something regarding that topic, you are most welcome to attend and learn.
Okay, so is it like you have seminars and panel discussions and researches that, are you also carrying out some research work?
Yes,
under the banner of Reconnaissance Research?
We do, but I don't like to talk about the shortcomings or the negative aspects of limitations that we have. There are things that prevent us from publishing much of the work we do because of certain rules and regulations.
That, yes.
But we deliberately invite a wide mix of participants, academics, policymakers,
to contribute.
Diplomats, business leaders, and sometimes people who come to Kuwait specifically to join us. We have had many guests coming from France, the United States, Japan, India. We have an India Affairs unit led by Professor Aftab Kamal Pasha. I believe when we engage stakeholders, our focus becomes to translate complex issues into a clear, practical insight without oversimplifying or overcomplicating them.
I understand. So now, Mr. Abdulaziz, at the very beginning of while introducing the show, we mentioned our sponsors, Al-Mullah and Mughal Mahal. And I have a very small gift from Al-Mullah Exchange, who are friends of both of us.
Yes.
And I would like to hand that over to you. So we'll just take a short break and come back.
Lovely.
So before we go ahead, I'd like to thank Al-Mullah Exchange for their continuous support of Sadaaqa. Now, as a small token of appreciation, we are delighted to give a corporate gift on behalf of Al-Mullah Exchange. And Al-Mullah, as Mr. Al-Anjari knows, is a name many families and institutions in Kuwait trust when it comes to sending money abroad. My children studied abroad and I use no one but Al-Mullah. What really sets them apart, and I have experienced it, is how effortless they make the process of sending money to destinations like UK, Canada, Ireland, and UAE and several other countries, even on weekends. And the full amount reaches, and it's like there are no deductions. And before you know it, your family, your children, whoever wants to use the money, they have it in their account. So thank you so much to Al-Mullah Exchange for supporting Sadaaqa through all these years. I mean, we are a small team here which is continuing the process of documenting and archiving the very, very important connections between India and Kuwait. We couldn't have done it without you. So Mr. Abdulaziz, this gift, tell me, do you use Al-Mullah Exchange as well?
I use Al-Mullah Group of Companies services. It's a great company managed by a great family with great people.
That's right.
So it's not a company that is a family name by title. It's a family name by title and management, which is good.
Which is good. So
I don't know what this is. I have
you can see it later.
No.
You want to see it now?
It's an office.
It is. It's
organizer.
an
Office
organizer.
And it matches the color of
it. Does match the color of your desk.
Perfect.
So thank you so much for accepting.
Thank you, Al-Mullah Exchange, and thank you as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome back to Sadaaqa. We are speaking to Mr. Abdulaziz Al-Anjari of Reconnaissance Research, a non-governmental think tank here in Kuwait. We're having a very interesting conversation. But before we go ahead with this conversation, I'd just like to thank our sponsors, Al-Mullah, Mughal Mahal, and the Persin Group of companies. Now, the Persin Group has been a very long and respected name in Kuwait. I think, Mr. Al-Anjari, you must be knowing them?
Persin is a very well-known brand. I mean, their offices is just across the street for hours. And I think maybe 50, 60 years they have been in
Well,
Kuwait?
56. I was while doing my research for my first book.
It's an old
Yeah.
company, yeah.
I mean, my first book on Sadaaqa, which is called Partnership and Cultural Kinship. I featured the Bhasins in that book, and it's so interesting the stories they have to say of Kuwait in the 1950s and 60s. You know.
Wow.
Yes. So my next question to you, Mr. Abdulaziz, is this: that how does reconnaissance research build on shared India-Kuwait legacy to identify Indian entities and emerging domains that can support Kuwait's future development and technology exchange?
Well, that's a good question. We start from the strong historical relationship between Kuwait and India,
Okay.
but we look forward rather than backward.
Okay.
Reconnaissance acts as a neutral, convening platform that connects experts, practitioners, and decision shapers, policy influencers from both sides. Through our roundtables and close discussions, we identify practical areas where cooperation can be meaningful for both parties,
Okay.
and how Indian experiences can support Kuwait's future priorities. Rather than promoting specific companies, we focus on understanding Indian schools of practice, how projects are delivered efficiently, how risks are managed and mitigated, how systems are scaled without unnecessary expenditures. We call it kafa'a. I think proficiency, the quality of output.
Okay.
And I think India has mastered that venue in all sectors.
Okay. So I've heard recently that there has been a diplomatic, a training program that Kuwaiti diplomats are being sent to. This is Sushma Swaraj's Institute of Diplomacy, and they are being trained there, you know, in the art of diplomacy. They're doing special workshops, special classes. Is there something along these lines that you are also thinking of in the future in other areas?
Is it regarding India or just Kuwait?
No, Kuwait, India. I mean, can Kuwait benefit from, as you said, you know, that there are so many things that India is doing that Kuwait can learn from?
I think one underappreciated area is vocational and technical training.
Okay.
India has built a very strong ecosystem of trade schools and applied technical institutes that produce skilled technicians, supervisors. This model could directly support Kuwait's vision.
So that's the underappreciated, areas that I was going to ask.
Always it's overlooked.
Yeah, it's overlooked. I mean, there is trade and energy on one side, education and culture on another side, but this, you think, is one of the most underappreciated aspects of that can be addressed.
Yes, I think linking vocational education to real market demand and small and medium enterprise development could also help reduce reliance on government employment and create a more resilient private sector workforce. This is not only an economic opportunity, it is also a form of labor diplomacy and long-term human capital partnership.
Yeah.
And we need it.
We need it, absolutely. Now, in what ways, but I mean, can think tanks, do you think that think tanks, you just answered that how reconnaissance research is helping out, but in general, can think tanks act as informal bridges between nations, complementing official diplomacy? We know what the embassies are doing here in Kuwait, but can think tanks complement and strengthen and act as informal bridges between nations?
As I said in the beginning, we are not yet a think tank. We hope to be a think tank. Since our inception in 2019, we are nowhere closer to where we have been. We are much better now, but there is a lot for us to do. However, I think we can be just like this lovely chocolate tray.
Okay.
You may not seek something sweet, but if it's only presented to you and it's available, you can pick one and enjoy it. Okay. So I think our job is not to guarantee a policy being changed based on something we produce.
Okay.
Our job is to provide factual database analysis from people with expert or people with merit.
Okay.
People with expertise or people with merit. English is my second language. I'm allowed to make mistakes.
Yes, it's perfect.
So if you have that available, then it's the job of anybody who is interested to maybe benefit from it or not. But I think trying to say, unless we can have a link to a certain government entity that allows us to guarantee that the output will be seen as reliable, don't think about it this way.
Okay.
Do what you want to do, provide it for whoever is interested, and maybe it will be beneficial to somebody, or maybe not.
Yeah. Mr. Abdulaziz, before we go to my last question that I have for you, is there something else that you would like to add?
What we hope to do is to create small, informal, off-record spaces where policymakers, academics, passionate people about international affairs, industry leaders can speak candidly, test assumptions, and build personal trust while realizing there are critics and skeptics all the time. Our focus is less on producing reports and more on helping each side understand how the other think, decision cultures, regulatory logic, operational constraints, institutional foundations. These things are very important. It's easy to know where you are and where you wish to be. But what is the best path? What is the best time? What are the tools that you need? How to calculate your steps moving forward? It includes so many aspects. It's very important for people to acknowledge that it's good to dream, but leaders turn dreams into a reality. And that gap between dreaming and creating that into a reality takes a lot of work.
That's right. Very well said, Mr. Abdulaziz. And I'd like to end the section that I'm doing with you on a personal note. I know that you did a documentary on India. I don't know when exactly, and you traveled to India and you documented your experience there. I just want to know about that. Did it leave a lasting impression on you, that the time that you spent there?
Thank you for reminding me about that. The movie didn't make a lasting impression on me because it wasn't.
That was one of your first.
It was the
first ventures that you did.
It was the first ventures doing a documentary without doing any documentary before, without knowing how to do it properly. And it was so expensive to make. Everything you want to do has a cost attributed to it. But
thank you for acknowledging that.
Thank you. But it was about how do expats from the work class level live their daily lives in Kuwait. What do they go through to come to Kuwait? And since the Indian population in Kuwait is the number one,
it's the highest, yes,
the highest, I decided to go there also and show Kuwaitis where do Indians come from those certain parts and areas, just to give a glimpse on the hardship and the difficulties they endure, and maybe create a human touch that makes us understand them more and for them to appreciate us more.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
So I went to Kerala, I went to Cochin. I spent only the first, I think the first day or two in a hotel. And then my Indian friend insisted that I stay with him in his house. And it was the most beautiful breakfast, the most green landscape I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
You hear birds chirp or whisper? Chirp in the morning. It's a magical land.
It is.
It's a beautiful land.
Kerala.
Everybody is happy. I think we need to do a lot of that as well. Sometimes you lose touch with humanity when you treat people as civil ID numbers and Iqama numbers and names and job titles and job descriptions. I think we need more of that human touch.
Yeah.
I hope to redo the movie, maybe take few more scenes here and there and re-edit it. It could be a great movie.
I'm sure it will be a good movie.
And you can help me with that.
Aziz, I will definitely.
But you need to help us with the cost as well.
Yeah, we need someone to help us with the cost. So thank you, Mr. Abdulaziz, for giving us the time It was so wonderful to speak to you, and I'm looking forward now to speak to two very young Kuwaiti men. And since it's February, I'm even more interested in focusing on young Kuwait, and it's something that as a journalist, which has been very, very close to my heart, promoting young Kuwaitis. And so thank you very much once again, sir.
You are most welcome, Chitali. Most welcome.
It was an honor.
Thank you. Thank you.